everyone, I'm going to give you a quick overview to flipping tools. These are tools that you can use in the flipped classroom or if you're wanting to create any kind of digital content for students. So let's take a look. One of the free learning management systems that are out there is Schoology. A lot of people have also heard of Edmodo. Less people have heard of Schoology. I prefer Schoology, so that's why I'm sharing it with you. Edmodo is Edmodo if you would like to explore that one. Both have sort of a Facebook feel to them in their interface, but I find Schoology much cleaner, much easier to use, and for one teacher to host something, it is very simple. It is free unless a school wants to purchase it and have its own domain and get a little bit more complicated, but I've used only the free interface. I find it very intuitive, very easy to use. My students love it. I can post anything I want them to see there. I can organize it by folders, and when I'm teaching a class that somebody else is also teaching, we can share resources. So if I create a quiz in here, I can add it to my resources right there at the top. You see the word resources. This is the interface. This is what it looks like when students come into it or I come into it. And so we were able to share links or share documents or share quizzes. So we're not recreating the wheel all over again for our class. So we do like that aspect of it. And that can be a closed personal group that you share with, or it can be a public resource as well. So you see the folders here. Each folder is for a unit within my English class. Students come in, go into that folder, and everything they need for that unit is there, whether it be note-taking or a link or an embedded video that they can watch right in the site. You don't have to worry about them having YouTube. Love, love, love Schoology. It's also integrated with Google Docs, so all of my Google Docs appear in Schoology, and I can just drop them into the folder that I want the students. I can also make the folder released when I want the folder to be released. And so when I know that I'm going to have a sub and I don't really want the kids, I put up the folder whenever I want, but the night before they can't see it, even if I've put it up there, I make it visible. I have it turned on at 8 o'clock. I have it turned back off at 4 p.m. or whatever I want it to do. So that's another nice part about Schoology, or really any learning management system can do that. This one is just free and very clean. Some other ways to share files with students, any kind of file sharing site, whether it be Google Drive. Once you upload something to the cloud and you're basing that file in the cloud somewhere on the web, it then has its own URL or address, and so that is what you put into the internet browser that you're using, and you can find that file. Depending on the type that you're, depending on the program that you're using, it might be you can password protect it, or you might be able to see it but not edit it. You may be able to comment on it but not edit it. So there's all kinds of settings when you share something. It can also be, a lot of these can make for collaborative work between students. So that's another good thing about Google Drive. Dropbox is the same kind of scenario where it's just really a filing cabinet with all of your files that you want to put into the Dropbox. But then they can be had anywhere that you go. So if you go to a different place and they're on a different computer and you can't plug your computer in, you can still access all your files. Evernote is a little bit different, and I use it to keep track of my students. Because any email or concern or anything, I can shoot that email over into Evernote and keep it all together about that one student. I can also make notes. If you want to think about Evernote as almost being a Post-it, and every note looks like sort of a Post-it. So whether I put a Word doc in there or a PDF or a PowerPoint or an email, it's sort of like collecting a bunch of Post-its into a folder versus the files. SugarSync is just sort of a backup of files, and I like some of these. I don't know why I tend to use SugarSync for this, but if I have a PowerPoint and I need to send it to somebody and it's a very heavy PowerPoint and it keeps getting sent back, I'll sync it up to my SugarSync, and then I have a URL that I can just send to them, and then they can have the same file. So and whenever I drop something in that folder, it automatically backs up to SugarSync. So I like that about that. So here are sort of some comparisons. So if I look at Dropbox and Evernote, there is always some free space. People are willing to give you free to get you to try it. And then sometimes you can earn free additional space. Sometimes it costs money, but even, 10 bucks a month for 100 gigabytes, very few people would use that. So that's something that you would need to decide how much is worth it to you. The thing I like about Evernote is it's based on a per month basis. So you get 60 megabytes a month. So if you seem to be running out of room, just wait for the month to change and then you get another 60 megabytes. So it builds, whereas Dropbox is more static. So that's just a quick thing. Evernote's a little bit more multi-platform. I find it's more seamless across Droid or iPods, Macs, PCs. I also find it very helpful with digital note-taking. I also keep my children's Christmas list in there on a personal note. I can clip things right off the web, snip a picture of something that they saw in the store and drop it in the Evernote, and then I can share that folder with whoever I want for Christmas shopping. So that's another nice thing. And like I said, it's great for email storage. Sometimes I have a really hard time keeping track of everything that's happening with students that I've been assigned to sort of take care of and advise. But I now have the ability to take those emails and send them into Evernote, and I have a list there of all of the emails. So that's a nice way to do that. And I talked about SugarSync a little bit. So with each of the files that are up there in my 6th grade history and 8th grade English folder, each one has their own URL. This is a 90-day free trial if you want to play around with it. And then it's about $75 a year for 60 gigabytes. And you can earn more storage as well if you refer a friend or if you put it on your portable phone or portable device. You can earn some free storage. So that's another way for them to pull you in. And then there are some online quiz sites that you might find helpful, particularly when flipping. StudyStack is great for creating flashcards, and so is Quizlet. Quizlet tends to be, I think, a lot cleaner. StudyStack, I think, looks a little bit still like it's in beta form. Lots of ads. But just to give you some quick screenshots of those. So this is what a Quizlet looks like that we created for ancient Greeks. It's almost like a practice test for them. And the nice thing about this is once you put the information in, this is in the test mode. If you look up in the upper right-hand corner, you see the blue highlighted is in test mode. I can very quickly, as a student, could switch it to cards, and then everything that I've put in there looks like a flashcard. So it would look like this. So it would have the word, this is my 5 Pillars of Islam flashcards, and when they click to flip it, it would see if they remember what that pillar was. So that's the nice thing about both of the programs is you can play them in different modes depending on what you want to do. Here's a scatter game where this one I borrowed. I don't teach German food adjectives. But you drag the word on top of the English word on top of the German word, and they'll match up and they'll disappear. And when you're finished, your board is cleared. And it gives you a quick timer so you can time yourself too. So another quick way to practice. This is StudyStack. You can see it just looks a little simpler. This is it in flashcard mode, but it also has little games that they can play. They're very simple games where they just use the arrows on the keyboard to eat the vegetables or Cheerios, depending on the question on the right-hand side. So it can be played in lots of different ways. A hangman type of, you see the type of games down there at the bottom. So sometimes you want to capture a video that is online and have it as a file. Depending on how whatever learning management system you're using or how you're sharing files with students. A way to do this is to use SaveVid or KeepVid. It needs a small Java applet downloader, so if you're using a school computer, you might have troubles with this, but you should be fine on a personal computer. And when you go to SaveVid or KeepVid.com, you simply put in the URL and hit enter or create, and it will take that YouTube video and make it a file. Then it's a file on your computer that you can save and post or add to a PowerPoint or whatever you want to do with it. So another good sites to have on hand. Evoki and Go Animate are interesting ways to make video creation, but with cartoons. So here's a quick video for you on my Voki that I created for you. It's a great way to introduce students to a unit or something like that. Here it comes. It's a little slow, sorry about that. And I'll hit play.
Greetings, everyone. I'm Shannon's Wookie and she has asked me to say hello to you. I enjoy introducing her classes or a project at the start of class. Sometimes, she even lets me summarize the most important points from her lessons. She really loves teaching and I'm so happy she allows me to be a part of her excitement for teaching now and then. I hope you all have a great day and enjoy learning about some of the cool tools that are available for teachers.
Okay, so just as a different way to change up video creation, and students get a real kick out of it. And you can embed that and you can send it to them and you can just have it play like I did. So whatever works best for you, you can choose the person and choose the hair color, and the kids have a really fun time with that. The Go Animate, the thing I like about that is it can be a dialogue between two people. So I have them explain a concept using two people talking about it. And I've had a hamburger and a shake explaining indirect and direct objects. Fine, as long as the students are learning how to differentiate the two. It's a nice, quick, fun site that you can explore. If you want them to see you, and I've used Screencast-O-Matic in a different module, so if you want to see what that looks like, actually I'm using that right now. I forgot, I'm using it right now. You see the picture-in-picture, this is free, it's just on the web, you have no download, and you can narrate over top of a PowerPoint. Jing, on the other hand, is a download, but does the same thing. It captures everything I'm doing on my computer screen and then saves it as a video file. This is what Screencast-O-Matic looks like when you go to the website, and I'm not kidding, it's as easy as click Start Recording. And when you do that, you get a square box that you size to the frame that you want to show everyone, and then hit record, and it's that simple. Podcasting and vodcasting. So just as a last note, a lot of these, you'll see these words as you begin to explore these tools. And basically what it is creating audio and video files and then hosting them somewhere on a site, whether that be on a blog or in on any one of those programs that I showed you. Sometimes podcasting and vodcasting can be subscription based, and people can add what's called an RSS feed. And in that RSS feed, anytime that has been updated, it will automatically download that content to your computer. And so some people use it as almost sort of their own personal radio station, where they will say, I want to subscribe to this feed because I really like that, and I want to hear more about what they're doing. And every time they put up a new audio file, oh, that's okay, sorry. Every time they put up a new audio file, it is automatically downloaded. So hope that gives you a quick overview. I went a little bit longer than I wanted to again, but have fun and let us know about the tool that you think you could use with your students.